Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Last Epoch dev stream. As always, I'm your host, Mike. How's it going? How's it going, everybody? We're still playing our mage. I've really been enjoying this mage. We're not strong yet, but it's fun, and that's what I like. So we're gonna keep going, keep having fun. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Please put at Last Epoch Game in the chat if you have any questions for me, and I will be happy to answer them. We're just gonna hang out. Have some fun.
Hello.
I only have one teaser today, but oh, it's a good one. So just get that out of the way. It's gonna be a little bit before I share it, but it'll be worth it. It's a good one. And as always, we stream for charity here. And International Association for Suicide Prevention is our charity this month. Next month we'll have a new one. For all you fine folks. Get like on the zap like on a beat, just like we need our cast speed up to get some better music going. First question up here. I just want to say well done on the MTX response. Can I get clarification on whether these supporter packs include the lower tier packs? No, they do not include the lower tier packs. They're just what they are, or they need to be bought individually. No, they're just like what's in those packs. The stuff in the packs is like the best stuff we've made. I think personally, it's my favorite. It's also the prices all changed just recently, so it was the cheapest. I don't know if it still is the cheapest, but I think it must still be probably per thing. Oh, it's been such a gong for the last couple days. But today's stuff, yeah, we got some cool stuff today. Weaver's Will, unique items coming in strong. Ooh, they're a ton of fun. It's very cool. This is one of those things that just like kind of came out of nowhere. I know there's been zero mention of anything like it. I did actually tease them at some point on stream. I hinted at them. But it was very subtle, and without knowing more, there was no way anyone would have figured out what was going on. Oh my goodness. We are hurting here. Okay. Is our lightning blast working? Yeah, okay, it is working again. Did Weaver's Will grow out of a discussion on the pros and cons of unidentified items? No. It feels like a way of having unidentified items without having their drawbacks while encountering different builds. Not really. The Weaver's Will is like Trisoki special as far as kind of just came out of nowhere, which was fantastic. Love to see it. And it's more of a way to kind of bridge the gap in your item progression and still have something happening with your items. So like have a potential for items to be improving while you're getting to that. There's sort of this like lull that happens in your gear progression. You get nice like T20-ish gear. You get a few uniques. You start hunting for like specific exalteds and uniques with LP to go with them, and there's a big gap in finding new gear where it's kind of nothing's changing in your gear set at all for a little while. And if there happens to be a Weaver's Will unique that does fit your build and you get one, it's a way that your gear can be progressing and upgrading and changing without actually having to change what's physically equipped. I think it works really well. Curious to hear if you have played any of the D4 betas. If so, what did you think? Do you see any aspects you'd like to implement in LE in the future? Yeah, like so I played the I played the open beta like a couple months ago. I think it was a couple months ago now, a month ago, something like that. I played that a bunch. It was a ton of fun. There wasn't like, I was really trying to play it from a gamer's perspective and not from a developer's perspective. So I was more just like, I'm gonna have fun and play a game. Is really what I was going for. There were lessons learned from playing it. Things that I like, good and bad things. I'm like, oh, like I want to make sure I don't do that, or oh, I gotta make sure we find a way to get this feeling in the game or something like that. You know, there's lots of things like that. You try and turn your brain off and just play, and sometimes you just can't. There's things that sneak in. Will the packs be season exclusive? So right now, that's the plan for these packs. There's a lot of things still being discussed, but the initial version of these packs, like, we don't know what's going to happen next patch. We don't know what's going to happen the patch after that. Right now, these are the packs that are available. That's where we're at. That's it. Any thoughts about avoiding the clear speed meta that PoE has? Yeah, we do a lot of things to try and promote. Taking your time a little bit, exploring a little bit, that sort of stuff, and we definitely don't do enough. And we've definitely got things that we've got in the, like, here's a feature that we want to get in. It's gonna be hard to do, but we'll do it eventually. So yeah, there's definitely things that we are looking to avoid from that. Saying one of the biggest issues you think is having mechanics with timers, so you're not getting so you're getting less loot for being slow, in addition to the inherent drawback of getting loot slower, which should be the only drawback for slower builds. Yeah, I mean, there's timers are very, very awesome for getting like tension, for ratcheting up tension. I'll talk to that in a second. Just like, thank you, Heavy, very much. Resub for 24 months in a row. Glad to have you with us. I'm glad you're still enjoying yourself. 2 years is nutty, but thank you. That's great. And McFluffin, thank you for the raid. I didn't even see that. I must have been off getting a drink at the start of the stream, or just talking because I'm a talker. But welcome everyone from Lone Star's stream. I was watching you a little bit before this, and also thank you, Anton 8 for 3 months in a row. Glad to have you with us, everybody. We're having a ton of fun here. It's a good day. I was like, this morning, I'm like, can we make sure we get that post out before stream goes live? Come on, yeah, is that? And they were like, yeah, we're on it. Don't worry. Thank you. Because I had a tough time sleeping last night. I'm being perfectly honest with you guys. That was I was dreading this a little bit. All right. What am I talking about? Clear speed meta stuff. Yeah, there's timers on things, so we don't have any mechanics that have timers on them. But timers do a really good job at building tension, and so there's good things that they can do, and there might be ways to do it better. And I don't know what that is yet, and that's part of the reason we haven't ever implemented a timer style mechanic like that. But like, just think about like you're playing just Mario. Just like Super Mario Bros, the first one, and you get down under 100 seconds, and suddenly Avalanche kills you like it always does, and you hear that, I don't know what the sound is, or something like that. And it's like the music, the pace of the music doubles, and the tension just like goes up to 11 immediately. And so like I think there are good things that can come from having mechanics that run through timers. I don't know the best way to do it or how to do it successfully, and we don't have any mechanics like that right now. And we do try to actively include mechanics that don't require, don't push the narrative of a clear speed meta, because that is naturally just there anyways. Like, the faster you kill things, the faster you get loot from the things you kill, and the more loot you're gonna get, right? Like, that's just naturally there no matter what. Lanka has subbed as well. Thank you very much. Is this? Oh, it's telling us the hype train going on. We know. You know what happens to the hype train? The train pulls into the station. Flippin' love that thing. All right, let's go. And all at Last Epoch game and all of HU. Oh, here we go. I'll read that question in a second. Thank you very much, Heavy, for 10 subs. It looks like 10. I just know how big 10 is at this point on down the list. Thank you very much, Heavy. That's fantastic. Congrats to everyone who got one of those. See if anyone shouldn't have got one, like staff. Kane got one. It's always funny when that happens. Thank you very much. That's great. Let's keep going. I know I'm going super slow. I get a couple comments every once in a while being like, you play so slow. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just get distracted. Master Swords comment to us and all of you for you guys know you are the best RPG game devs of all time. Thank you. I don't know if that's true, but I'll take it. Also, Judd for president. Also love you guys. Yeah, that was thank you. Appreciate that. That's fantastic. Glad you joined. I assume this is partially in response to the post that just went out a while ago about the MTX Redux. Hey, wow! Oh my goodness, there's so many things happening. All the things. This is wonderful. It's a great day. It's a great day. Thank you, Master Sword, and Kane regifted. Wonderful. Good job, Kane. Thank you, Master Sword, for the 5 gifted subs. Congratulations. There's subs going off all the time. The train's just like. Oh gosh. This is actually really interesting. I was looking at this, and there's 4 little like different holes that notes play out of, but some of them are significantly smaller than others. And that's how you get that like multi-tone sound in there. I just thought it was cool. All right, how many? There's so much stuff happening. Native Zeros gets this up to JB. Congrats. Thank you very much. That's awesome. We're going hard here apparently today. I love it. It's gonna be a patch, but by the time next week happens, there's gonna be a patch live and everything. Oh, it's great. I did have to push updates to the patch this morning because of the changes to the MTX. It was just like, it always stresses me out pushing updates less than a week left in them to patch. But I'm very happy to do those ones. All right. More questions here. I swear I'm going to get to the questions, I promise. If you have any questions, please put at Last Epoch Game in the questions so I see it, and I will be happy to answer it. How many new items, unique, legendary, weaver should we expect on the patch? Well, so legendaries are made up of like unique items. So like we had uniques and legendaries get created out of them. I don't know how many there are total actually. But there's not a huge complement of them. Like I would say less than we'll be adding in per patch post 1.0 probably, but there's still like a decent chunk. Why am I just like walking when I could just be warping? Nope. Kind of warping. Does the next patch fix anything with the network? I mean, we've been yes. So there are changes for multiplayer coming in the next patch. We also do make changes to the servers without telling anyone sometimes. But yes, one of the big changes coming. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. There's something coming that'll help. It'll help exactly your problem you're having here. I live in the EU and I either get US East or Asia server with 100 to 180 ping. I've never been placed in EU server. Is this something that developers are aware of? I see posts about it on the forums, Reddit, and so on. Yes, we're very aware of the problem. I can describe exactly how it's happening. Weirdly enough, the system's actually functioning perfectly. We just designed it bad. What's happening is the style of ping check it's using to determine which server it should place you in is a style of ping check that can be deprioritized by networks. And so sometimes you'll get longer pings than is really what would happen in a real world situation, because the ping is usually supposed to be a test, an indicator of how fast things will be, like if you were to use that server, and we're getting back not indicative data of what the actual connection will be like, and we're using that information to put you in the wrong server. So yeah, there's fixes, and it's gonna be awesome and phantasmic. Right, I'm just getting pings, just reading my pings, you know. Focus just feels bad to use, especially in some boss fights. Being stationary, not having a mana, his movement skill, etc. Are there any plans to bring it in line with more mana strike for mana regeneration? Nothing specific, no. But if you have suggestions on the matter and you'd like to see them implemented in the game, please head on over to our forums and leave a suggestion there, where people can discuss it and talk about it and upvote it possibly. There aren't a ton of like major wide sweeping changes coming in this patch. There's definitely some. Don't get me wrong. Are there any plans to add a fourth master to the Sentinel and or Prime list? Yeah, there are, and we got even more stuff. It just doesn't stop. This is the best problem to have ever. Thank you. Romedical. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're having fun. All-time record shattered. I don't even know what that means, but it's cool. This thing just pops up with stuff. I'm like, it's neat. I love it. Anyways, any dungeon? Any plans to add fourth master to Sentinel Promise? Yes. We're gonna add the three main masteries for every base class will happen first, so everyone's got 3. And Tiny Wiener. Thank you very much. Yeah. You 100% got me with that one. 100% got me. Love it. Anyways, yes, fourth mastery. We do have sort of rough ideas of fourth masteries we'd like to see on specific classes. We know for sure what the sorcerer fourth class or the mage fourth class is going to be. Definitely, we've got that one on. We've had that one on lockdown since like 5 years ago. Well, that's not true. 3 years ago. Anyways, but yes, we've got front runners for all of them, and we will be expanding those. I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was just putting points everywhere, and it was just a terrible idea. That's fine. Any dungeon related to Weaver items? Any way to re-roll an affix, even if not recovering the Weaver number used for it? We don't have anything specific planned for that just yet, and there's nothing that's coming in on the patch. There's no new dungeons coming into the next patch. But I do think that is a very astute observation of potential for dungeon rewards in the future. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, ladle. Does it have any LP? I didn't even see. No. What a gong show item. I love it. Alright, here we go. Next question. Oh, I saw one that wasn't tagged. That's fine. I'll read it. Do Weaver's Will items have set affixes? Or are they random affixes? They're random, but they're not the same random as you'd see on a regular item. So like they're weighted differently than normal items that go in that same slot. So you like if you were to have like 1,000 Weaver's Wills on relic slots and 1,000 relic items, the ratio of affixes you'd see on those are different. And you'll see things that are more like class specific affixes, for example. I think it mentions this in the post a little bit. So it is random, but it's not the same random. If that makes any sense. And we like so when we're designing these new uniques, we're really trying to put them in slots that will really I guess shine with like more the ratio of affixes that will be good for that unique, or at least positive for that unique, is higher than is like we position them strategically so that would be a high ratio. And I think it works pretty well. Like you do sometimes you get affixes that aren't perfect. It's extremely rare that you get an affix that's like actively negative. I don't know if that's possible. I hope it's not possible. Alright, next question. Are there plans to have MTX with special events? For example, glow grows with 100 strength. Or when you kill an enemy, they melt into a puddle, those kinds of things. Oh, special effects. I see what you're saying. So there already are, the like MTX that are already coming in the store do have VFX associated with them. Like the 2 capes that you saw in the preview window that were more expensive, they both have VFX on them. The capes, I think all the capes in the supporter packs all have VFX associated with them. The portals and have like VFX, SFX, and animation. Yeah. I think I don't know what the pets have. I can't remember. Sorry. But yeah, there's VFX, and then there's like you're talking about like extra like VFX things that happen in like idle states and things like that, maybe. And that sort of stuff I think will be maybe once we've got ourselves a little more solidified in pipelines and things like that, expanding how we do some of those things I think will be really interesting. But there's no reactive VFX for your character stats. So like a specific thing with like a glow that's relative to the amount of strength you have. I think it's a really cool idea, and I think is actually possible, but we don't have anything like that. There's been talks about adding stealth mechanic to backstab, and a backstab to rogue. But D4 rogue felt. I just went to the zone. Felt more like a rogue because of that. No. We tried some stealth stuff a little bit, and the initial, like when we were first developing the rogue, we actually tested some stealth things, and like smoke bomb's kind of where we got with that, where it's like the big problem with a lot of stealth mechanics is they force you not to attack. At least in our game, that didn't really work very well. We felt, so maybe if we can find a way to make it feel really good. But until then, we'll have to stick to more thematic and like implied versions of it. Since you updated Lich form, any chance to look into Harvest skill? Because it's so bad, and Melee Lich isn't viable for some corruption. 400 plus. 400 plus is really high. Maybe. I don't have any details on specific upcoming balance changes. Sorry. How many Weavers built items would there be in point 9? Approximately, just a rough number. Less than 10. I think. I don't actually know. I don't think I've seen them all even myself. Like that's the funny thing, because I got sent our teaser for today, and I was like, "Well, that's new. When did that happen?" So I actually don't know how many there are. I could find out. I've just been so busy. Yeah. Oh, will the lore with the lore, are you planning to have lore scrolls, books, or fragments, etc. of some kind you need to find, discover more about Last Epoch? Yeah, there's actually some of these coming next patch, which is going to be awesome, and they look really cool. So there's little collectibles, not collectibles, they're just little lore stations, I want to call them, opportunities to optionally delve a little deeper into the lore of the game. Epoch, I missed the whole issue with the MTX. Glad to see you missed it. It wasn't awesome. But I think we've recovered nicely. What was the question though? However, I'm seeing you guys' response over previous issues. I have total confidence on you and the team, so just appreciate the message. Oh, thank you. That's lovely. There's that giant gift chain. I'm so far behind. Hi, Mike and EHG. Want to say regarding predatory MTX posts, we are. What? Oh, you haven't seen the update. Okay, so if you haven't heard already, this morning we released an update to the MTX post that was released out, and there's go check it out. It's on our forums. Yeah. How many uniques coming next patch? I don't know. Sorry. Will there be a train whistle in the game? I mean, there kind of has to be. I mean, well, like, where does like train whistle technology sit relative to other things, right? Like, if we don't have guns, can we really have a train whistle? I know, like, the one I have is nothing, so maybe it's not a train whistle literally. Yeah. This is my the last time, maybe the time before, I was talking about like a hypothetical character. If I could add anything, and you know, like, everyone just had to do whatever I said, and I add it. And I was like, oh, I added like a bard class, basically, performance class, a jester class, you know, the trickster class, all sorts of things, and yeah, I guess that could be like a weapon type, a flute. It's not in the list of planned things at all, for the record. Could you explain a bit about the Weaver's Will items? I can touch a little bit. I won't be able to tell you much that's not in the post itself. So yeah, do they gain affixes based on XP gained while having them equipped? Yes. How does it select the affixes? I saw that it likes rare affixes more. Yes, it randomly picks one, and it is a weighted randomness, so it has specific ones that it likes more than others. Are there ways to manipulate the affixes in any way? No. Will next patch be 1.0 or 0.10? Oh, like 0.10. I see. I do not have hard details on the patch number for the next patch, but we're not planning on having a 0.10. So like it'll be 0.9x until it hits 1.0 is the plan. So of those two things, 1.0 will come first, but that's just because the other one won't ever come. What is your new favorite unique legendary that is coming? You don't tell us what it does, just be a weapon type, armor type it is. Like I said, there's some that I just saw this morning for the first time. So I don't know. I'm gonna withhold judgment myself even until the patch. But of the ones I've seen so far, there was some armor that I really liked the look of that I don't think's been spoiled yet. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what you get. Meteors to the face. Deal with it. Will only a few uniques drop with Weaver's Will, or will it be like LP where all except a few can drop with it? The ones that can drop with it will drop with it, and the ones that can't drop with it won't drop with it. Every time. It's a specific type of unique, and this comes back a lot too, because with a lot of them, or with all of them, they're designed specifically to have, to kind of fit this a little bit better, so that you end up in situations where you're like that's a terrible combination, far less often. And they also start with like, because most of them are going to get up to 4 extra affixes. I think they all have a little bit less than you'd find in like just a raw like high end item, as far as affixes in general. The count, maybe 1 less. All right, next question from today's post: can we assume legendary affixes don't change the level requirement anymore? At least in the unique ring preview, it didn't. Yes, the Weaver's Will. I know for a fact Weaver's Will items do not change their level requirement as affixes get added to them, and I'm pretty sure. I know we decided we would do this, and I think because of the way it works, it has to do this because Weaver's Will is like this. That unique, the pink affixes don't actually change the level of the item. And I'm pretty sure that's the way it is for legendaries too. You're gonna have to wait till patch notes to be 100% on that one, or ask me again after the stream on the Discord, and I might go look it up for you. I might be, or someone can confirm if Reimer's here or Kane's here or someone else that knows. It might be crazy, but set items for the most part seem very underwhelming. For the most part, I would agree with you. There are some really good ones, but yes, for the most part, set items are underwhelming. Am I crazy? This is the reason behind this for this madness. Set items are kind of scary. From our perspective, from the developer's perspective, and we've definitely erred on the side of caution with them, and erred is an appropriate term because they're not what we want them to be, and we do have a plan to bring them to where we want them to be. We haven't executed the plan yet, so at least for this patch, they will continue to be a little bit underwhelming. But like a big part of it for a lot of people is that they don't scale fantastic into the late game. I got confirmation. Yes, legendaries, unique items don't have a way to change their level requirements. So all the base unique level requirements are that unique's level requirements, regardless of if it gets Weaver's Will affixes or legendary affixes added onto it. So that's the level it is, and it stays that level. What was I saying? Oh yeah, set items. Yeah, set items have a lot going on with them. Their tooltips are huge. I think I just got a ring. Yeah, like this is, I think, the smallest set item tooltip of all. I think this might actually be the smallest one. And you hold Alt and it's already almost the full height of the screen. You know, and like, so we actually, when we were making the tooltip system, we had to make a system to shrink tooltips so they wouldn't go off the screen up down. So they dynamically change their size so they could fit on the screen, even before holding Alt in some cases. And it's just too much stuff to just slap legendary potential on them. But we do have a way that we think we can make set items like get the core interesting part of a set item and incorporate that into your builds and have fun with it. And I kind of glossed over it, but one of the big reasons why they're scary is because you can really quickly get into a situation where your build is defined entirely by a set item or a set. And having that situation where, like, oh, I'm gonna play a Sork this cycle, and the Talraj is set, for lack of a better term, just because that's the Sark set in D2. But yeah, so like, Tal's is just like the best set for it possible, and so like there's half three quarters of your gear is just dictated by this set, and away you go, and there's no real planning, there's no real like oh, how can I fit this item into my build, and like it cuts away a lot of the other systems entirely. So we do really want to get it involved more in your build crafting and have it be in a situation where it's not going to kind of take away the puzzle of putting together your gear. How does one get the new Weaver items? You kill monsters. That's about it. After the 0.9x cycle, will the next patch be 1.0 or 0.10? 1.0. You guys rock! Thank you, buddy. Glad to have you here. Do you think you would do Twitch drops, big events like launch 1.0? We don't have the system set up to do it for 1.0. I have no idea what's involved with setting it up. I do think it's a cool thing to do, and I'd like to get it going. I think it's a fun community building thing that yeah, I don't know the pitfalls of it well enough, but I feel like that's in the need to explore further category. Oh, what's going on there? Okay, we made it. Awesome, thanks. I have really spent quite a bit on another game that has MTX like that. Appreciate you guys answering my question. You're welcome. I don't remember what the question was, but I'm glad I answered it to your satisfaction. Next, if I have two different rings that are Weaver's will they have the same weighted chances because they're rings, or will the weights be on the base itself? A ring for minion would be nice to have a heavier weighting for minion affixes. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm sorry. I assume they'd have the same weighting. Because having like unique specific, maybe not though. I don't know. Great question though. I think we'll see. We'll get more details about Weaver's Will stuff in the patch notes, I think. Any plans on possibly using loot filter type queries on your bank? No. Maybe even letting you use them to put items in your bank. So I said no really quickly, and usually that gets followed up with wanting to change the colors of things in your stash. There's a performance problem there. This isn't a design decision. This is a sure, like a finger on the monkey's paw curls, and we add that, and I steal 90 FPS from you. Deal with it. You know, like terrible things like that. I don't know what the actual number is. But we don't have a way to do it nicely at the moment. I think likely we'll be seeing some regex adjacent search criteria. And I do really like the idea of having defines on specific tabs being like, oh, okay, if you have like exalted rings, they just like, and you just quick move them into your stash, exalted rings all just go into this one tab. Or something like that. Having loose defines. There's a lot of stuff in there that we'd like to do. And unfortunately it's probably a post 1.0 feature set right now just because there's so many things we want to get in. And mechanics like that are like solid, but maybe missing some nice little extra bonus feature. The nice little extra bonus feature generally isn't high enough priority to hit 1.0. Generally, it's not. Depends. So like, if we're like, oh, this is gonna take me 2 lines of code to change and 10 minutes of testing to confirm, super low risk, like slap it in type thing. It's a little more involved though, because there's a lot of performance concerns. All right, is it already known that if you bind your move key to right click, it won't show the click indicator on the floor anymore? I didn't know that. If you find a bug report, please report it on. If you find a bug, please submit a bug report on our forums, because telling me will just whoop whoop. Will there eventually be a 6th class? I think there's a very high probability of having a 6th class. I know I wrote the design document for us on it, and there are 3 class suggestions at the bottom of that design document with masteries. So I'd love to add a 6th class. We'll probably see 4th masteries before we see a 6th class. I know this question is kind of out there, but thoughts on adding more classes or subclasses in the far future? Yes. How likely are Weaver's Will items to equivalently roll up to 4 LP affixes? I don't know. I'm sorry. Finally, a streamer who pronounces my name correctly. Thank you. You're welcome. That was a good one. I enjoyed that a lot. When is patch? Patch is in 6 days. Oh, patch is in 6 days. It's always terrifying to say out loud. You know what I just remembered that I have, and I completely forgot that I spec'd into it at all, and I should have actually just taken some notes higher up there, but that's okay. I'm a noob. Is free casting on? That's not working. What is going? No. Something janky's going on. It's okay. I'll figure it out. Are you happy with the new MTX update was released before you went live on Twitch? Yes, very. I got to review it moments before it went live. Hi. Hello. Are there any plans to hide loot beams for items hidden by the loot filter? Not specifically, but if you have a suggestion, please head on over to our Discord or forums. I think it would make sense. I think there's situations where, like, exalted or maybe unique beams were not auto hidden by that or something, or maybe a setting in your options. That's maybe something I'd like to see. I kind of like seeing them myself. I know that sounds weird. Something's going on there. That looks like it's just going right through me. Nailed it. Our relic is comically terrible. I want cast speed, but at the same time, mana ranger might just be better. We're struggling with the mana. What's your favorite new unique legendary that's coming? You don't tell us what it does. I already answered that. Do you plan to add any limit break mechanics like Vol skills from PoE or similar? It's different. Nothing specific, no, but maybe. What do you think about the public's response on Steam and Reddit about your post in the cash shop? Well, like, are we talking about the first post or the second post? Because I feel like the way the question's worded, it's likely talking about the first post, but I don't know. I very intentionally did not go look at the Steam forums for it because, it's difficult to have rational conversations there frequently. Not impossible. There's lots of great people on there for sure. But I find myself having a tough time. Also, very inexperienced with the interface because I never have used it as a player myself on any other game. So I'm just not used to it. But I'm gonna assume you're talking about the second post. It's great. I'm happy about the response. I think it's wonderful. Can we up the epoch point value of the supporter packs to retain their full value, i.e. 500 points for $50 pack? I can't make any comments or promises or anything like that. But just like every game suggestion, if you have a suggestion or something you'd like to see with the game, please head over to our forums. Post it there. The as far as I'm aware, the supporter pack is supposed to be here's a bundle of cosmetics at like at a cheaper value, at a cheaper price than they would be individually. And oh, here, by the way, here's some extra points. That's how I looked at them. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. Do you have any info when we'll release the last 3 master? Yes, 1.0. Do I know what 1.0 is going to be? No, I don't. Alright, now I need you to use Morse code to tell us what it is. I don't know what that's for, sorry. And I know very little Morse code. Are you guys going to update Reaper form skills with the new Reaper form? There's some, like the VFX for Reap changed. But I think you saw that in the post. It's mostly animation anyways, though, so. And Rhymer said basically the exact same thing after me. Yep. Do you plan to use ladder feedback to balance / nerf the outlier builds that are so far above the rest? I feel pigeonholed at the moment. So there... I'm going to answer this, and I just want to be clear that I don't mean that that's the only thing, which I kind of just answered it by saying that. Yes, we do plan to use data as one small piece of the overall tools we'll use for balancing. Like I would say more so using it as an indicator of things to look at than a rigid rules on what's going to change. Released 7 months in a row. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. Glad to have you here. Hope you're having fun. Yeah. So yes, but usually the fear when I say that is like just because a build's doing well, it's gonna get nerfed into the ground. No, super no. If we see that the ladder is like the top 500 people are all playing this one build, like that's an extreme case, and we'll use that as an indicator to say, hey, we should go look at this and evaluate what we want to do about it. And one of those things could potentially be nerfing it, but maybe it's just a bug in there, which, I mean, you know, if we fix the bug and it causes it to do less, that is a nerf, sure. But we're also committed to a few different things, and around balancing in general. One of them is we know that people spend a lot of time building these characters, and it can feel really terrible to have something that starts out competitive and then just gets like gutted into the ground, especially in the middle of a competitive cycle. So we'll attempt to do as few balance changes as possible during an actual competitive cycle when it's happening. No, the initial ladder launch, I don't think we can count as a competitive cycle to start with. But like post 1.0, cycles are going. Balance changes that happen mid-cycle will be, especially major ones, especially nerfs, will be for egregious problems and things that absolutely need fixing immediately, but we'll focus the balancing efforts in between cycles. And then the second thing is also just, even if something is very, very, very strong, or even possibly overpowered, you know, like, trying to bring it in line with other things, sure. But having it suddenly become, like, empirically worse than, you know, like everything else. So like if something, say like you rate builds out of 10, and we'll say like top tier competitive is 10 out of 10, and there's this build that's a 12. The goal is to nerf it down to a 10, not nerf it down to or even an 11, even, so like leave it overpowered, but like not to nerf it down to a 4. Like that's something we really want to avoid. And every case is different. Every situation is different, and we want to approach them all individually.
Who cares about that?
And we know that the 0.91 ladder experience is going to be a little lopsided for some builds and some classes and things like that. The primary goal is getting that 1.0 ladder to feel fun and competitive, and yes, we want the ladder to be as awesome as possible the entire time. But having those, you know, like it's releasing the ladder now is as much for just testing the functionality, like weeding out the bugs in the ladder itself. You know, like it's more about that for us right now than it is about having a competitive ranking system for people, which I know some people really want, and it's something that's really important to a lot of people. And we are adding that to the game, and so we do need to take that seriously. But I hope that the prestige from winning beta ladder is taken with a grain of salt. So I don't know, it's not the right way to say that. There will be bugs. We've got to get these features tested. There's a lot of things like this that are really important features, and if we release them at 1.0, there's this potential for huge problems to happen when we really want them to shine. And in this the game's in this sort of like really weird state where we're so close to 1.0, and the game's like starting to feel it's starting to feel great. It's starting to feel like there's an expectation for high quality content and features to drop right away. And we definitely do our best to keep things as high quality as possible as they drop. But getting to 1.0 is more important for us right now. Getting to 1.0 in a timely fashion is more important. Yeah. And having that 1.0 drop feel as good as possible. Any close to the Release of the Falconer? Every day. How many people are working on this game actively? Oh, I don't even know anymore. 70? 80? You include, like, everyone? And that's not just, like, people who are, like, I don't know, in the editor or whatever. That's, like, everyone, because everyone's working on it. Sometimes I'd argue my wife's working on it. She hasn't done anything for it. I'm being told that apparently we've said 100 plus before, which might be true. It's interesting because like I've been around since there was a dozen people, and like you get to know everyone really well, and like you know everyone's voice just by like they'll laugh and you'll be like, oh, I know who that was. And now I'll be in a voice call and like I'll be talking to someone, I'm like, I have no idea who this is, and I'm like have to like find like which light's lighting up to be like, okay, who is that? It's a little weird sometimes. To follow up on Guaf's question, let me find Guaf's question because I don't remember what it was. Oh, ladder balancing. Yeah, okay. Any current plans to implement an API to allow the community to view more than just the skills of the ladder leaders? So the yes, asterisk. We would like to add more involved information for people to have. We know some people really don't want to share that information, and we know a lot of people really want to share that information. So it's both for sure. Daedalus, thank you very much. That's a 5 gifts and sub to the channel. Oh, congrats to everyone who got one of those. That's yeah. No more EHG accidental gifts, which is good. Well, congrats if you got one of those. And BD Yeti, thank you for the sub. Glad to have you here. All right, so what am I talking about? Oh yeah, ladders and being able to see what everyone's like gear and everything. So yeah, I think in a perfect world, and this is something that we're still figuring out what we can do, what's possible, how can we do this that it works well and people can interact with it nicely. And I think in like a perfect situation, we'd have the ability to give people, and for the record, I do not think we'll ever get to the perfect situation. But we'll get to a situation where you can see anyone who, like, I don't know if it'll be opt in or opt out, but there'll be basically like two states of your account where like characters that you have on the ladder are hidden or mostly hidden or something. Maybe it's like maybe the state that we have right now is considered hidden, so it's not like fully hidden, but it's like obfuscated. And then have another version where it's like just wide open. You can just see everything. You can see like the exact gear they were wearing, their passives, everything. And I think there's a version where both those are possible, and like players either have to opt into or opt out of showing everything. I think I probably want to opt out, because I think for the most part, people will kind of not care. And having that information available, I think, is more interesting for the people who do care. And then people who really don't want to show their stuff can not show their stuff. I think that would be the best situation. But like I said, this is still we're still working on it. We're very interested in feedback people have about it. So if you really want to see something in this category, if you're like, oh, I'm not going to participate in the ladder unless my stuff's hidden, like no way, or like I'll only participate in the ladder if I can see everyone's. Like, I don't know, those are pretty extreme stances, but just like, or even just like, I would prefer it if I could see this. You know, that sort of stuff's really, really useful information. So we are interested in hearing that sort of stuff. And I think that will be better feedback once 0.91's released. Now, I want to know if the wormhole node works if you've got mana left. So if we do this, and I go like this. Yeah, okay, so it just doesn't work when you're Interesting. It's like a fire and ice rainstorm battle. I almost got really cocky there. I went, I'm gonna win, and then it almost died. Let's, drop a couple things that are superly useless. Okay. I love that one. Oh, here's a little one. You'll be able to turn this off soon. The name. You'll be able to make names disappear. Next patch. This one. Will you like to give us details about 1.0 within September?
We have the
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Immortal Emperor on our journey.
So next patch is first cycle. Kinda, in a way, yes, but like define cycle is sort of the hard thing to do there. But it's the first, like, ladder, like online ladder. Do you plan to introduce Mike's beard as MTX? My mage would love to have it. I trimmed my beard actually a couple days ago. Just tidied it up. It was just the mustache, just getting that so it's not like literally in my mouth. How's the Merchant's Guild stuff coming along? Slowly. But it's coming along. So that's good at least. Spark Nova. I do like the idea of putting Spark Nova in there. This is really tempting though, just because. So is that though. These nodes suck. These nodes are awesome. It's a bit of a joke because last time I was like saying how great they were.
I know things are all. If to be honest, I can't imagine.
Was that a lot of
but I
idle
will
slots I
take
just
your
got?
warnings to heart.
I think it was. My resistance is like, ooh, not awesome, are they? Don't need fire res, that's for sure. Let's do stun avoidance and health. I know it's probably low priority, but the native Linux client has bad memory leak, and after an hour or two, will freeze up the entire system. That's so wild. Because I know that's been reported in the past, and I know we like hunted it, and like just couldn't repro it at all for a long time, and then we did, and then we put in a bunch of stuff to fix it. So I'm not sure how that's happening, but if you do find any bugs, which it sounds like you may have, please report them on our forums. Have you guys given another thought about gender-locked classes and making the opposite sex models for them? I mean, there's nothing new that's come up. We still intend to add that feature eventually. It's one of those things that it's a priority thing. It's a very, very large production investment to add that feature to the game. We believe there are other things that we have yet to add that are more important, and we're gonna add those first. That's about all it comes down to. Master my man, sells for all. I know, but like, fine. I could just get like teleporting strikes with Mana Strike. Probably way better. I'm not using Flame Ward at all, actually. You know what? Let's do this, because I'm not using it properly. And teleporting strikes, is this it? Yeah. And then just more mana. Obviously, it's just gonna. Obviously, this is the one. Yeah. Okay. Oh, hello, Mike. Long time. Hi. Good job on dealing with the MTX issue, but could you guys please reconsider the decision to making MTX not available in offline play? Thank you in advance. There's nothing I can do with that right now. If you have suggestions, please head on over to the forums. But yeah, the way it is set up is an online feature. I would say that the responses in the second post is maybe a little better. We were reading extremely different responses. One went from, am I going to slip into depression here? And the other went, let me go grab a beer and hang out on the patio. Didn't actually do too much work to do, but you know. It's okay, the supporter packs, in my opinion, at least the prices are better than PoE. Will there be a character limit added to LE? And is there a way characters over the limit to be deleted? There is a limit technically right now. It was a technical limit for the initial online implementation that we put in place in order to just make sure things didn't get out of hand. I think that we plan to increase the limit, but I don't know. Offline also has a character limit, but it's like 1,000, so I don't think you'll likely run into that issue. I have a feeling I'm skipping over questions, so if you have a question, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question, and I will answer it for you. Otherwise, someone else might answer it in chat. Volcanic Orb Tree rework when? I don't know. When it's a high priority feature compared to other things. Are there plans for accelerated leveling campaign skips, alts, in the future letter cycles? I mean, other than the ones that are already in, no. You say that you guys don't nerf the builds too hard, but you nerfs Auto Bomber into oblivion. Now it's 2 out of 10. We're gonna have to disagree on that one. Is drop rate for unique items boosted during 0.9 or just stay the same 1.0? Well, when Item Factions releases, the base drop rate will be reduced, but you'll very quickly surpass that drop rate by interacting with either of the Item Factions. Drop rate's the wrong word. Item acquisition rate.
Now it shall bear my final
Item upgrade rate. I don't know what you want to call it. How do you feel about rewards for being top 100, 200, whatever in the ladder? I think there's a really good way to... I think there's opportunities for good ways to do that. And I've talked about this before, how I would implement it if it was just like carte blanche, go ahead, Mike, do what you want. And I personally would like to, if we're gonna do this, I think it would look a lot more like, almost like a... remember, like, this is gonna... Back when I used to play WoW, you would get tokens for like tokens for your tier sets, and I'd really like to see something similar to that happen for like ladder rewards, so there wasn't this like issue of like missing out on it and then it like going away forever type thing. But having some sort of like, I don't know, point system, where you can like pick one of some option, like if you get enough points or something. I don't know. I think there's lots of ways to do it, where it's like really fun and doesn't like, it acts as a nice reward for achieving something, because having those like, hey, look what I did, here's this cool thing I got for being awesome. I think those are really great. And I think there's a lot of pitfalls in adding those and presenting them nicely. But yeah, I think there's opportunities for something to be there. We don't have anything specific planned. Yeah. I hope that helps answer. I kind of went into a little more detail last time about that question. How asymmetrical are the rewards intended to be for upcoming factions? I could see things emerging like Trade Guild being good for rare-only builds, but worse option for other builds. Or is it hope that each faction has about the same access to Exalted Legendary Gold, Idols, etc.? The goal is so that they are roughly similar. We know they won't be the same, and there will be some mathematical way to probably prove one's better than the other for certain things. The goal is to have almost everyone's decision boil down to, do I like trade or not? Like, if the vast majority of players are going into this decision with, do I like trade or not, and that's as far as the decision making goes, oh, we've nailed it. And I know that kind of does leave room for maybe some people who are extremely competitive but really like or dislike trade, to be a little bit disappointed, and it is really unfortunate. And if that happens to you, I'm really sorry, and we're gonna do our best to mitigate that as much as possible. But we know that it's never going to be perfect, and it's never going to be exactly identical. The goal is to have them be roughly similar, and be roughly competitive with each other. I keep using the word roughly because it's never going to be perfect. I think I want to go up here. Just that sweet crit multi. We're doing crit. We're doing lightning, meteor, shower, crit. I think would be that's our goal here. Just Oh well, that's good. That's a wonderful affix to get. Warden cleansing on potion use. Fantastic ethics. Is there any idea when we may see new factions coming? I'm not a big multiplayer guy, but I do find my ability to play multiple builds stagnating, even with the ability to target farm specific items. I don't have any details on exactly when. I'd like to get it in before 1.0. I don't know if it'll make it before 1.0 because there's a lot to do with it still, and a lot of testing that has to happen with it. It's still very early in development. Probably drop some stuff off in our stash because our bags are filling up. I'm not a man of many pockets. Should we wear this ring? I kind of want to just wear them. It does give us cast speed. We do a lot of fire damage right now. Give it a shot. Do you just go for it and see if it's fun? I'm gonna do any cold damage. Really need the other one. But getting that, it's basically like, are we wearing this specifically just for that cast speed? That's really what that is. That's not good enough. All right. Will the faction system be account-wide or per character? Essentially, can I choose to be both factions on separate characters at the same account? So it's going to be both account-wide and per character, if that makes any sense. So progression will be account-wide, but representation will be character-specific. So if you are on a like you can say you start a rogue and a mage, and you put the rogue on Circle of Fortune, and you put the mage on Treasure Hunters, what are they called? Merchant's Guild, sorry. And you level up one. I'm just not going to use the names. So you level up one. You level up both of them. You're you're playing both of the characters. You're leveling both up. You're going, and then you're like, oh, I really like Merchant's Guild so much more. And you can take your Circle of Fortune character and just switch it to Merchant's Guild, and now they're both Merchant's Guild, and they both keep leveling Merchant's Guild, and your Circle of Fortune progress stays. And then if you're like, oh, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna go back to Circle of Fortune. And you can take both your characters back to Circle of Fortune. That's totally fine. And the one caveat is that any gear that's tagged with an item faction rank requirement doesn't change when you change the character. So if you want to change a character and you have a bunch of items that have an item faction rank requirement, you do need to replace those pieces of gear. Give me those ice beetles. It's the second one of the second frozen hive I've got. Love it. All right. Your game is the only RPG that I can play. I love the simplicity of making your own build and crafting your items. Awesome, thanks. Please keep simplicity in mind as you progress in development of the game. We do try to... promoting simplicity is not really the way we look at it, but complexity needs a reason, I think is a better way to put it. So, like, we'll add complexity to the game for sure. If it has a good reason, if it adds depth to the game, if it adds interesting mechanics and things like that, and I think that I think we do a pretty good job of that. You always do a better job, though, right? If I buy $50 pack, with the MTX for lower tier packs as well? No, it's just the pack that you buy. What made you opt to keep idle slots? Well, a lot of similar games cut them. Like idols? Like these? There's not a lot of games that do idol slots, is it? Do you mean relic slots like this one here? If you're talking about this one, it was an attempt to have a really class a really class themed item in your inventory. So like we really try and push the class fantasies. Like a quill is a very mage thing to have as a relic item, where it's like a quill on a primalist. Really? What? It seems a lot less. I mean, actually, you can make an argument for why it works on a primalist, but you know what I mean. I just picked one at random. We try to have that like class fantasy push, and it was part of a way to push that class fantasy through item based types, and then that lets us put specific affixes and implicits on there as well to really drive like interesting implicits for each individual class. Because we knew we wanted to have 3 slots for that, and we actually had the slot before we did this, but we did know that we wanted 3 slots for that. And helm and chest work really well because they are the really visually, like the ones that stand out really visually heavily. So like we don't have to make a crown sit nice. It's not even sitting perfect. A crown sit nice on a primalist save, which cuts down on dev time, which lets us put more awesome stuff in the game. And that's the most important thing, right? Right. Is there any way to have a portable stash? It is technically possible. We don't plan to include one. There are a lot of stashes out in the world during activities that you do. So like, in dungeons have stashes at the start and end in some cases, possibly all cases actually. And then the monolith in between every echo is a stash. Like there's a lot of the things you're doing, like the arena has stashes in it. A lot of the activities you're engaging in have frequent access to your stash, and we do that really intentionally. But we don't want to just have like we don't just want to be like magic stash plump, you know. Right. The thing that just happened where you searched for mana in Mana Strike is something that's been a small annoyance for me for quite a while now. It would be nice to have a skill name. If the skill name wouldn't be included in the search, since 90% of the 100% of nodes will be affected the original skill in all the skill trees. Yes. That search, I'm the one that did it. Sorry, it's terrible. It's really simplistic. It's just like take these 6 fields. And just like, what's the combined string for that? Search for the string in that field. As soon as you find it, it's good. That's it. It's like it's really basic. And that's one of those things that we'd like to improve it. We'd like to add in maybe there's like a property feature. This is like sort of stuff that I've considered adding to something like this. Long-term feature thoughts. I'll just be sitting outside relaxing, and all I can think about is, how am I going to add to this? And you put something here, and you have like maybe like quick search options that you can save, where it's like damage or stun or shock, and you can just be like filter quick filter options that you can save. Like there's 5 quick filter options you can save, and it just like lets you quickly put things in that you search for frequently in multiple different trees. And so you can just be like, meteor, click your damage one, and it shows you damage nodes, which I know is something a lot of people do. I think that would help a lot. And yes, excluding things like the name as like part of the string compare would be smart. Alright, excited to get my Fire Tiger MTX, my Fire Necro build. How big is that pet? It's not huge. It's I would say medium. None of the pets are that big, really. Like the biggest pet, what's the biggest pet so far? It's probably the turtle. Like that's probably the biggest pet. Oh, hey, Aaron. Didn't see you there. Hi, Mike. I have a question. I have an answer. Regarding the language setting in Last Epoch, when will it be possible to set another language, for example, Polish, English, or Russian in patch 1.0 or at all? Writes through a translator? Oh, this was through a translator. Like full on game localization, so being able to set like the whole language of the entire game is something that we are actively working on. I do not know when that's going to be fully available. We're doing a lot more languages than we initially planned, which is great. I think Polish is one of the languages. Oh, it might not be though. I don't know what the languages are. Yeah, I don't know if that's one of them. I know Russian was selected as one of them. I know like French is one of them. Spanish is one of them. Like I think all of eFigs is in there. I know there's some with like that use other character sets that use like Japanese, Chinese, Korean character sets. Hangul. I'm sorry if I'm like horribly butchering these things. I really apologize. I'm just ignorant, and I try to learn these things, and I'm not good at it. But yeah, we're working on that. We ran into a problem with like Korean chat recently and the combinatorial nature of it, but I think we have a solution for it now. It's a whole thing. Unless COF has some bonus to gold find, I'd see Merchants Guild characters having more access to gold, which isn't necessarily more powerful, but is asymmetric in a certain level of asymmetry that is intended or desired. Any particular kind of item EHG wants to keep exactly balanced between the two. Okay, so yeah, gold asymmetry I think is likely to happen just given the nature of it being the currency. But yeah, like you said, it's that doesn't apply directly to items. So I think that the important things we'll be looking at to keep to keep closer is like the actual things that'll go in these slots. So like maybe you have access to way more gold on Merchant Guild, let's say hypothetically, but maybe then at the same time there's like a prophecy that says like some way to improve the items that come out of, or like be more specific in the items that come out of Lightless Arbor. So yeah, like the Merchant Guild's going in there and dumping an extra 20% more gold into it, but the items that are coming out of the COF one maybe are 20% better on average. So it's like it just evens itself out. So the actual items, and please, those numbers are just as examples. But yeah, like the things that you're equipping is what we want to be more in line with each other. The goal is to have characters feel progressing at roughly the similar rate, and gaining power at roughly the similar rate, and ideally, if we listed the factions people were on, the item factions people were on the ladder, that it would just be like a smattering of both all over the place, and you would be like, oh, there's no pattern, and that sort of thing. And like who knows, because and that's not really a good indicator. As I'm saying it, I'm like, that's a terrible idea, Mike, because I feel like there's a good chance that they might like attract like if one of them is slightly better than the other, people who are more likely to compete in the ladder will probably gravitate towards the one that is slightly better, even if they are very similar. If you were like force every other player to always play one or the other, you'd end up with them being roughly equal on the ladder. But I think because one of them you'll naturally see it be disproportionate on the ladder, I think. Just because as soon as one of them is even like 0.5% better than the other one, I think they'll start to see that rise to the top of the ladder, just because that's what it'll attract a similar type of player. Any plans for any more skills after release to fill the classes more? Absolutely. Could you see something similar to a transmog system being implemented into the game as a possibility, or is it something you guys have a reason for not wanting to do? I don't think we ever said we didn't want to do it. I can definitely see that being something we had in. It's something we've talked about. I know it's something we've discussed how we want to do it. We haven't put like hard, like hard numbers on it. Warden's dead. I don't know what that. Yeah, it's over here still, isn't it? Yeah, area. Down there. Can't remember what I was saying. Sorry. Transmog, yeah. Transmog, I think would be sweet. There's how that looks long term. I have no idea. Still a ways off for that. Will the latter have anything like Pee-wee's challenge rewards? Not initially. Something to keep me invested each cycle, since I don't care about competing with other people each ladder. Yeah, I think there's you hit the nail on the head on one of the reasons it's good to have. And it's going to take, I think it's going to be one of those things that we're going to need to be careful about how we implement it, to have it be something that people are excited about, and not have it be concerning. Like I don't know, some sort of minimum achievement that's not relative to other players for a specific bonus. I don't know, like... I don't know if this is the right way to do it or not. I guess this is a suggestion, and please give us feedback on what you want to see.
Fools.
Don't forget to put Last Epoch game in the question, please. Pretty sure Villatra's staff still has visual bug where both normal and lightning meteor cast and you cast meteors. So beware when you get it, if I get it. But yes, it does. That's been fixed though.
Yes. Don't lose your way. Yes. Don't lose your way.
That's weird, right? I'm not crazy. You're crazy. Hey, Last Epoch game. Does skins work with druid transformations, or will the transformations override the MTX? Transformations will override the MTX right now. But this is one of those things where we do plan to add skill MTX as well, so you should be able to have a way to change the way your character looks in transform as well. It's just certain things like your bear doesn't wear a hat, so having an MTX for it is weird. You know, cape might be kind of cool. I know we tried it and there was horrible problems. The bear looks terrible in a cape. Like really bad. Spring looks cool in the cape. Bear looks bad. Alright, the new uniques have a really cool unique models. Any chance we see uniques with unique audio too? I think there already is. Mage body armor with many pockets that gives a voice line. I see what you're trying, and I'm still not going to pick that up. That'd be funny. I like that a lot. These are the things that like we're a couple years post release, and we're able to like get these really cheeky fun things in there. You know, like that's the sort of stuff. That's the good stuff right there, right? I've got like a bajillion pings. I'm just gonna take a quick peek, because like it's one of those things that's like enough pings that you're like, is something happening? Oh no. Oh no, just PR is getting approved. That's good. Oh yeah, llama ignoring the don't ping the devs rule. Yes, I'm calling you out. Deal with it. Just kidding. Love you, bud. Oh, friends trying to organize a magic night? Yeah. Aaron, that's a nice title of your video. Thanks, buddy. All right, we're good. You know what? We got to Lake Liath. I love Lake Liath. It's pretty. I don't know why, but it's nice here. We're gonna let's take a peek. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm... Oh, I don't know when this is gonna open. Okay, give me like 2 seconds. Oh, it's not right at all. Whatever. It's a good thing I did that though. It opened right in the center of my screen. All right, here we go. Boom! It's another Weaver's Will unique. Pew 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 pew. I got a big version up here so I can see it too because it's too tiny. Little big version. So yeah, so we got new boots with Weaver's Will, increased movement speed on boots, which is something everyone always wants. Haste for 3 seconds when a nearby enemy dies. Less damage over time taken while you have haste. When you gain haste or refresh its duration, you gain 17 ward, and your minions gain haste and frenzy for 3 seconds. And it is a very low level unique. That's level 16 unique. I shouldn't have closed that. Does that show up on the? It does. You see it little. You see it like minimize and. That's funny. It's fine. Okay. You get screenshots. Your screenshots all done. Here's last screenshot opportunity. All right, go. Hey Mike, I just tuned in. I didn't know if it was asked yet, but are the item factions coming next week or not? They are not. Item factions will not be coming next patch. No. That item factions coming? Like, oh my gosh, that's like headline hype news, you know? You'll know. That's one of those things where always people are like, oh, I have no info on this. Like, oh, you'll know. When it's coming, you'll have to avoid that information. All right. Any plans to buff the less competitive skills with the introduction of ladder? Love the game so far, love the game, but I fear might get a bit stale to see the ladder clutter with the same builds. There are balance changes that are happening. We haven't done a like really major balance pass over all the skills for this patch. Like, it's not like we've gone through every skill and said like, all right, let's make sure like, okay, this one's underperforming. How do we bump this up without making it become like just a new part of this other build that's now too strong or something like that. Like we haven't done that yet. That is an important step that we are wanting to get through, but and there's been some obvious balance changes that need to happen, things like that. No, Tempest Rate still sucks. And this sounds like we don't want to make it good in its current version, because we could just like turn the numbers up, right? Because it doesn't feel good to play even if it is strong. Like it needs the functionality changes, so we're like left it alone until the functionality changes happen. I know it's a bit of a meme right now too. I'm sorry. Mike, will there be a feature in the near future, where we can save my build and then play another one that easily can respec back to save build instead of a full respec spending the points again? This is a request for Diablo 3 Armory style system, where you can switch between builds pretty quickly, pretty easily. And the answer is right now we have no plans to add a system like that. And we are always looking for feedback and suggestions and all that sort of stuff, but that would be a very, very large paradigm shift, and it's extremely unlikely that'll happen. I'd say almost zero chance it'll happen for 1.0. Like something colossal would have to shift before 1.0 if we did that. I hate just saying hard no to things, but like probably not. Can dummies have a DPS meter? No. I just said I'm only saying hard no to things. No. What's your general opinion on developing using Unity now that the game is at scale that it is? Does it have any limitations you don't like? Yeah, there's I mean, every single engine has limitations and things you have to work around. And there's a couple things that we've struggled with here and there that would be nice if we could fix. And there's usually we found workarounds for them over the years. There's a system we're rebuilding from scratch right now that is a very important system that we're having to rebuild. You know, like that sort of stuff. So there's things, but this usually kind of stems from the same question of like, do you regret picking Unity? Would you do something differently if you could go back? That sort of thing. And no, I definitely wouldn't. Like I do really like Unity still, and like I make dumb little things in Unity all the time. Just dumb little things. My buddy plays a we play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and my buddy plays a coin flip deck that the first time he said to me in the first time he said in the middle of a game, I flip 1,000,000 coins. What do we want to do about this, guys? I went, okay, I'm making an app for that. And like super the wrong thing to make it in, but you know, I made one quick in Unity because it's what I'm used to using. And now that takes seconds to do, which is great. So yeah, I do use Unity for lots of things, just fun little stuff all over the place. And if we were gonna like start another game or something, I feel like we'd still use Unity. Maybe that might be like reconsidered if it was another online game. But you know, you get so much experience with this, and this is a really interesting thing actually that comes up a fair bit. So like lots of companies have this issue where like you have what's it called, Bethesda's creation engine, I think they called it. Has some jank to it. It's why there's like kind of this jank that happens in like new Fallout games come out, new Elder Scrolls games come out, and you're like, I bet this bug still works, and it does, and you're like, why does that still work? And it's because it's an engine limitation, and they've got the Creation Engine 2 coming out right now, which is I'm so excited for Starfield, like yes. And anyways, I digress a little bit. So yeah, like there's a huge development cost to switching engines in training people with a new system, to just like problems that you don't know that you're going to encounter yet and have to fix. So it kind of sometimes comes down to what's cheaper, what's more cost effective, just working with the problems you know, or rolling the dice with the problems you don't. All right, Mike, will there be a near future? You guys still aware of bugs when using Warpath, like not being able to stop spinning and sometimes spinning with no Warpath animation? Thanks. Yes, there was very recently a bug fix that went into our development build for Warpath, which is great. I don't know if it fixes every single bug it has. I'm sure someone will find a new bug. It's a very popular skill. Escape button. I swear I pressed it. Alright, will skill affect MTX change depending on element conversion? For example, a Warpath MTX, it looks different if it's converted to fire or void. I think the skill MTX will kind of just take precedent over conversions. So like, if you want to have the void MTX, you can use the base void MTX, and if you want to have fire MTX, you can use the base fire MTX, yada yada yada. But oh hey, you want this other look? Like, have the other look. I don't think there's many situations where you'd ever want to like switch back and forth between them. Like you're never. I don't think there's any skills where it like Elemental Nova does this actually, where it like picks one of them and just casts it. So maybe there's the exception to the rule, but I think for the most part probably not. It'll probably just be okay, you want your MTX to look, you want your warpath to look like it's cold, even though it's doing fire damage, it's doing cold. You convert it to void, it's still looking like it's doing cold. You know, that sort of thing. How are the Weaver's Will items going to be kept balanced or kept from becoming too OP? If you need to, please be as vague as possible. I mean, a lot of their initial stats, like raw stats that you would see on like an exalted or a rare item, are pretty low, and they're pretty focused for the most part on the unique interactions. I say for the most part, the unique interactions, and also just the Weaver's Will number that it can drop with. Especially early on, it'll be like you'll be getting them with lower numbers to start with. And that's a number we can balance really easily. So just having that Weaver's Will drop rate change, like that value change, like the rate that it drops at higher numbers, you know, that's a really easy way to balance those items relative to other item types in the game. And it probably won't be perfectly balanced initially, and we'll probably need to make some adjustments, either tune it up, tune it down, something like that. You know, that's the sort of thing that we'll find out once way more people get their hands on it and tell us what's wrong with it. Will ladders be part of a new cycle to level the playing field? If not, what chance do new players have against veterans? So the initial ladder launch is we're not starting a new cycle with the initial ladder launch. We're just adding it to the game. But when ladders reset like when 1.0 drops, like ladder reset, and like only new characters created after 1.0 will be eligible for the ladder. It's sort of like a very standard ladder system. So yeah, the characters eligible for ladders will need to be new characters as you go in. Veterans will still have an advantage though because of the experience that they have, like as a player, which I think makes sense. That's not something we'd want to take away. I don't think either. Like I think that's a positive thing if you can learn and increase your skill level as a player and do better because you've increased your skill level as a player. I think that's a positive feedback. I don't know. I could be wrong about these things, though. I know I found myself questioning a lot of the things I've assumed about like that. I assume like that I've taken my personal feelings for it and pushed that towards a like I guess an assumption that other people feel the same way for a lot of these things. Quite a few times it's been very wrong. Like I play games differently than a lot of people. Something I've learned. Maybe I'm just getting old. I'm really excited for like 50 years from now and just being like, come on, holodeck, right? Or at least like the Oasis or something. Name that movie or TV show. Oh, dang it. No, it is a movie. That was the wrong name. Oh, no. Oh, I just confused two things. What was the one in the, like, Battlestar prequel spin-off Caprica? What was that called? Because Oasis was Ready Player One. I don't know. Someone tell me. Just the cosmetic changes. I just saw the cosmetic shop changes. I wasn't upset about them before, but changes are nice. Yeah. I hope a lot of people have that feeling towards it, but I know a lot of people were really upset with it, and I think it was justified. And to everyone who expressed that upset in a positive and constructive manner, I appreciate you a lot. Let's you can have some spicy meatballs over there, bud. Do we just go? Can we just go? No, we gotta wait, don't we? Yeah, kill everything? What kind of... Just get over here. Okay, more questions. Because I'm probably falling behind, and I'm really sorry. Oh, no, run away. Okay, don't die, Mike. Can we expect some Steam achievements in the future to keep us occupied while waiting for final release? I'd be surprised if the Steam achievements came before the final release. But yes, we do plan on having Steam achievements in the game. And I say Steam achievements. They might not be done through Steam. I don't know yet. It's one of those things that's like, it just makes so much sense to do it through Steam because they have such a great infrastructure for it built up already, and we just have to like tie into that, which is so nice. But I don't know. Maybe there's some limitation or restriction that I just don't know about.
Ah, I see you helped clear out the rabble gang. I thank you for your effort.
Aw, that's so sweet. Man, when I actually like use the teleport node properly, getting some decent value. I do need a ton more mana though. I just need a lot of flat mana right now. Alright, do you guys have official stats on when builds are being played by players and what item combinations, and will it be ever open to the public like PoE Ninja? We don't have that detailed information available yet. We are planning on making more detailed heuristics. What do you want to call them? How much we release, it's tricky because there's the danger of, okay, you release that info and sometimes calls for changes to balance are blown out of proportion a little bit based on incomplete information or a misunderstanding of that information sometimes. Other times it's fantastic. So exactly how we're going to approach that, I don't know. Can we expect some Steam? It seems like your game is the only RPG that doesn't require a PhD to play. I love the simplicity of making your own build and the crafting your own items. Please continue to keep simplicity in mind as you progress in development through the game. I think I may have read that out already. It seemed very familiar. Either way, glad you're having fun. Thanks for enjoying it.
Gods be with you. Good boy.
Greetings.
No thanks.
Take care of yourself.
I will, thank you, lady. How will jumping into the ladder race work? Are players with full stash tabs going to have an advantage? Simply making new teams means nothing if they can just delve into the stash full of loot, instantly power through. Sorry, so we're talking post launch ladders. Will be like when a new cycle starts and you'd like to participate in the new ladder, you have to create a new character with a new stash, nothing from the previous one on that new ladder. So you'll be starting from the exact same equal playing field of everyone else. There is literally zero mechanical in-game functional advantage to being an extremely experienced and franchised player. The only advantage that an experienced and franchised player will have is the personal experience that they have, the personal knowledge and information and personal experience. I don't know how else to say this, that they as a player have. So you could put a player, you could put a day one player on a 5-year-old account and a 5-year-old player on a brand new account, and they would have functionally identical. I'm assuming the advanced player may have MTX that makes you look different, but the functional like in-game functionality identical experiences, but the enfranchised experienced player would probably do better because of their personal skill. So the only thing you can bring with you to a new cycle ladder is your skill and cosmetics. Are there any plans to look at the differences in loading time between online and offline play, specifically when a party with others? Yes, that's something we look at all the time. We're the most knowledgeable and awesomest developers we have are constantly working to improve our online play experience. Who are able to make improvements there and advancements there. We're rebuilding one of the systems we use from scratch to improve that experience right now, and there's so many little projects that I'm just like, if I say this, there's gonna be like 4 people that are like, oh, I know what that is. I'm like, one of them's gonna be the person that's doing it. But yeah, like we're working hard on it. It's a very, very important thing. Any new attack animations coming 1.0? I mean, technically, I think Reperform has new animations. Hot tub streams when? That, like, I got that question a little while ago, like a year ago or something, that disappeared and hadn't gotten in a while. Oh man, when I get a hot tub is still my answer to that. And believe me, I am working hard to get a hot tub. That's like, yeah, that's high on the list. Love hot tubs. I think it's one of those things that, like, you enjoy. Like, there's this weird arc on a hot tub enjoyment. Here's my theoretical hot tub enjoyment graph over time. Okay. So this is a terrible color to do this in on I can't even find that dot I just put down there. So here is time. And this is yay. And so, you know, like as like this is age. Time, age. So you start off and you can't really go in a hot tub as you're a little kid, and then like you start to love hot tubs. You get into like your teens, you're like early 20s, your 30s, you still love hot tubs, but it's dropping off. It's not as like, it's not novel anymore. You've been in a hot tub a bunch of times. But then, like, you realize you're getting old and stuff starts to hurt. You're like, oh, sitting in a hot tub is just wonderful again. And then you're like, oh my goodness. I'm assuming this is what happens eventually, where you're like, I can't get in and out of a hot tub comfortably anymore. And, like, you know, hot tub enjoyment just drops off probably. This is my hot tub over time enjoyment graph. Totally accurate based on empirical data that I've collected over many generations. No. Just haven't worked in a paint graph recently, so I thought I had to sneak one in somehow. All right, I think I'm way behind on questions, so I'm gonna try and like rapid fire some of these. Can you explain what caused the bug of dungeon bosses not dropping their uniques and is going to be fixed in the upcoming patch? I do not know what that bug was. I'm pretty sure it's been fixed. There's some of these online bugs. Problems with them is like we'll get bug reports. We'll be like, oh, I just got a ping. I bet someone knows. Wasn't a bug. It's intentional. Oh, it's intentional. Never mind. No, it wasn't fixed. Moving on. Will Weaver's nice amount on these items be directly impacted by percent item rarity? I'm asking because high corruption stacking currently doesn't feel very rewarding. I would love to see more rewarding things from high corruption pushing. I don't know. Sorry. We'll find out. I'd really like to get a I'm gonna at some point pre 1.0. I promise I'll do this. Pre 1.0 I'll get and if I forget, someone hold me to this. I'll get down. I'll sit down in a room with G, and we will we'll hammer out exactly what increased item rarity does. All the edge cases. if someone wants to get me a succinct, altogether one place question about all of the edge cases they have about it, probably get the answers to you faster too. But you don't have to do that at all. I'll do it. What is the chance of getting more than 20 will on an item? 1% or less. Any random estimate number, please. I think it's going to be pretty low priority, low chance. And I think it'll require you to be pretty far in the game to get that high, because that's really high. That's a lot. That's Gamer Mike's estimation, by the way, not Developer Mike. Alright, unfortunately, anytime a new shield comes out, it's automatically discarded because Bastion is a thing. Items that are best in slot on any build are generally not good for the game. Are there any plans to legitimately fix Bastion via feedback from the more experienced players and such? I don't think that it is as dire of a problem as we might think. But yes, it is something that we are paying attention to, and when we do take a more fine-tooth look at the overall balance, I think there'll be more likely some changes there. BSG best sci-fi show ever made? Professor Chaos 88, we are good friends. I don't care what you say, we're good friends. Hello, good sir. Hello. Will there be any new weapon bases? Not in 0.91, but eventually. Oh, maybe there is in 0.91. I don't think there is. Crap, I'm not sure. Eventually there will be. For example, I'm playing as Ignite Shield Throw Paladin. There's no proper weapon basis to scale some damage. So throwing damage, we really intentionally don't put flat added throwing damage on weapons or shields in this case. So I would not hold your breath on that one in particular. And thank you, Renner. Will this patch have more old 3D, unique 3D models added? I don't know. I think so. It's one of those things that we're just kind of like adding more and more and more. So, I know the new ones that got added also got their models, like the Weavers will. Like that sword got a model, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, more modeling still happening. 1.0 is the complete 3D models for uniques at 1.0 is only going to be weapons. It's only going to be things that go in your hands. I think there's some others too, but like that's the only thing that'll be like completed. Does Steam have dev tools for developers, and if so, is it a smooth experience? Steam has a ton of awesome tools that are fantastic. There's a couple things we've run into recently that I'm like, oh, I wish we could do this, and it's like, we actually had to make. There's a second Last Epoch on Steam. You can't see it unless you're invited, and it's not published, and you can't buy it, and you know it doesn't really do anything. But it's there so we can test MTX purchases in sandbox mode, which I wish we could have done on the one that's already released without having to make another one. But for the most part, very smooth, and their support's super responsive. So every time we have had a problem, we're like, "How fix?" And they're like, "You can't," or "This is how." All right. Will there ever be a ladder released for standard mode down the road? Maybe when the first cycle ends. Maybe. That's a tough one to do. There's some tricky stuff there. We don't have plans for that initially, but maybe. What happens when stash tabs bought during the season? For example, I currently have 30 stash tabs. If I buy 15 stash tabs during the season, will they all roll over to non-letter characters, or do they get deleted? I don't know yet. I would say at worst, they become remove-only tabs. So you could pull the stuff out of them for your standard. They're like I can see options like, for example, having, because the cost of them ramps up as you go. So like maybe having something like it figures out how much money you spent on those tabs, how much gold you spent on those tabs, not real world money, in-game gold on those tabs, and it like gives you the first X tabs that equal onto the two new tabs that you would have had to purchase. If that makes any sense, because like the price keeps going up. So like, so you've got like 50 tabs on your standard account, on your standard cycle, and then like this is just spitballing examples of things we might consider. We don't know what we're gonna do yet, but like I think this would be an interesting way to do it, where it still is like gives you something, but it's not just like, here you go, you have a bajillion tabs now, type thing. So if you had like 50 tabs in your standard, and then you had like 10 tabs on the cycle rolls in, those 10 tabs, because you had 50 before, those 10 maybe only pay for 2 new tabs, so you 52 or something. I don't know, maybe something like that. I think just like straight up transferring them, I don't think that would be great. It might be possible, I don't know. If you've got feedback on what you'd like to see, please head over to the forums and leave us some info and tell us what you want to see. Maybe we'll do it. We'll at least consider it. Next question. What happened? Can't wait to figure out how to open the secret B level in the next patch. Alright, are you able to give any info on any of the 3 unreleased classes? If not NBD, but would be cool to get some insight on where they are at in development. Sure, I can tell you where they're at in development. Well, so they're all going to be released at 1.0, that's the plan. The Runemaster is the farthest along. It's got the most stuff done on it. It has all of its base skills implemented. Skill trees have gone through ideation. Base VFX is very far along on all of them. Conversion for nodes that we think we want conversions for are started for most of them, possibly finished. Pretty sure animations are in for them. I don't know what else. It's Runemaster is basically just like skill trees and good to go. Which is I think just skill trees, just 5 full skill trees. No big deal, right? It's a lot of work, but still, yeah. I think that's probably the next thing we're doing on those masteries. With the introduction of the Will uniques, Weaver's Will uniques, and uniques having legendary potential, sentiments looking even worse when comparing. Okay. Sentiments looking even worse when competing in the same item slot. Are there any change? I don't know what sentiments is. Is it Sentinels? M&L are pretty close. Sentinels. Sorry, I don't know what that means. Rhymer right below said, eventually yes, not this patch. So I'm going with eventually yes, not this patch. Alright, Sorcerer feels like a solved subclass. Any plans on updating it? I'm yes, when? I don't know. Like we're like any plans on updating class X? Yes. When? I don't know. We're always planning on updating all the classes. When we update one, it just goes to the bottom of the list. You know what I just did? Caught up to chat. Hey, well, we're just barely over time. I didn't do terrible. Ah, look at that. Not terrible. I'll take it. Let's get to the next waypoint. Next waypoint. We're speedrunning to the next waypoint. I will answer a couple more. We're a little bit over time, but that's okay. How far are we away from this? Oh, we're going that way, aren't we? Nice. The like line on what sort of gaps you can actually jump over is very subtle, and it has to do with the maximum amount that you have to like turn if you're gonna like drive a car along the path. How much you have to turn the steering wheel of that car is a lot of whether or not the jump's gonna work or not. What? Seriously? Are the... Oh, no, I've got it in just the, didn't update. That's all. I hate what my hair does with headphones on camera. I swear it looks better out of it. Alright. Did I just go to the wrong place? Okay, and we're gonna call it a day for there. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I had a ton of fun. I hope you did too. We're gonna end it there. If you have any more questions that I failed to answer, or just have some suggestions or things you'd like to say, please head on over to our various places that we talk about the game. Discord, there's an Ask the Devs channel where we try and be very active and answer questions from the community. Reddit, Facebook. I don't really go to Facebook, but I'm sure other people do. There's lots of people on our forums. That's a big place too. Tons of great stuff there. Yeah, come hang out, talk with us. We got lots of cool stuff to say. I'm sure you do too. Let's go say hi to someone. Let's go find someone doing something cool. Oh, Chakram. Someone's playing Chakram. Let's go say hi to Chakram. All right. See you next week. Same time, same place. Patch will be out. Tons of fun. Have a great weekend, everybody.